Winter is coming! Oh wait, winter is here! What is up, superfans? I'm Matt Stockholm, and this is another edition of the Quantum Corner. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video, comment down below. That will link you into our giveaway, and I will talk more about that at the end of the video. Okay, so for today's video, we are talking Game of Thrones, Season 8, Episode 3, Battle of Winterfell. What? Craziness. Alright, at the end of Episode 2, we've seen the Night King's army line up outside of Winterfell. There was a lot of questions going into it. So let's break down the top 10 and give you my thoughts and insight on it. Starting with number 10. Melisandre returns. Yes, the Red Witch comes back. She goes to the front of the army where all the Dothraki fighters are, and she says this little enchantment that basically ignites all their swords on fire, which looked pretty cool, and you start to think, okay, alright, get a little something going here. Alright, well then brings us to number 9, the Dothraki charge. So basically all the Dothraki horde charge into the Night King's army. You see them all on horseback with, you know, all these flaming swords, and it's really lit up bright. You see this giant fire in the army kind of moving forward, and literally within seconds you see it all fizzle down to maybe a couple single torches and then all black. And basically this shows you how overwhelming the Night King's army is. So that was definitely, for me, one of those moments of like, oh man. Okay, number 8. Tyrion and Sansa in the crypt. So a lot of the people that I guess were old, young, not necessarily warriors, were basically going to hide in the crypt. And Tyrion was really upset. He thinks that, you know, with his brains and intelligence, that he could be out there making some kind of difference. Maybe he'll see something that nobody else sees. Well, Sansa makes the comment, we're useless, that's why we're down here. And so they're kind of like going through their own, you know, self-stuff right at this point. You know, Tyrion and her end up having this really cute moment, kind of hiding in the crypt. But we'll talk more about that as I get closer to the end. Okay, number 7. We don't see the Night King right away, and he actually doesn't show up until pretty deep into the episode. Alright, number 7. We don't see the Night King until it gets pretty deep into the episode, but when he does show up, he basically uses this cold storm that puts out a lot of the fires. It blinds the dragons as they're flying around so they can't see really well, and kind of makes a bigger mess of the situation that's already going. And then he puts out a lot of the surrounding fires as well that's protecting the encampment. So definitely kind of an eerie scene, and the more as this episode goes on, the more and more you're like, oh no! Very intense for sure. Okay, number 6. Ed dies saving Samwell. Ed is one of our first main character deaths. He was one of the Night's Watchmen from the original crew of Sam and Jon Snow up at the wall. And then another point I want to bring out, and then another death I want to kind of tie into this, number 6, is Beric's death. He dies saving Arya. So we get a couple pretty intense deaths and pretty big character deaths in this scene, and I'm going to talk more as we go on later. But this scene with Samwell was freaky. You thought his ticket was punched, and then Ed helps him, and then right as Ed tells him, come on Samwell, let's go, he gets stabbed through the back or the back of the head or whatever, but not good. But it definitely is one of those characters that we've grown with, and it was really sad seeing Ed die. So let's get into number 5. Okay, so Melisandre comes out. From all the cold air and the cold wind, the Night King, that like cold storm he's produced, is making visibility really bad. So as they're trying to retreat back, they want to light the trenches. Well, they're flagging Daenerys, but because of the snow and the weather, she can't see the torches. So Melisandre comes out, she starts praying this enchantment. You know, you can see she's getting nervous as the White Walkers are getting closer and closer, and it's like the last split second she finally ignites the trench, and it burns, you know, some of the White Walkers, and it builds like a barrier so that they can't get through. Okay, number 4. Theon and Bran have their moment in the Godwood. Basically, Theon is, in so many words, apologizing to Bran for everything that he's done. And Bran tells him, much like he told Jaime in the last episode, if you wouldn't have done everything that you've done, it wouldn't have brought you to this point. And he says, home. basically saying that he, in so many words, forgives Theon, and he had to do what he had to do to get to this point to redeem himself, which Theon does, and I'll talk more about that. Basically, when Theon gets down to him, and he's the only Ironborn left to protect Bran, you see the Night King show up, and they're surrounded. Theon has the option of turning tail and taking off, and he doesn't. He basically faces it head on, goes with the spear at the Night King, knowing what's probably going to happen, and sure enough, it becomes his demise. But seeing him die like this, I think for all of us who have grown with that character and seen everything he's went ups and downs, it was a really respectable, honoring way for him to go. So I appreciated this scene, and I appreciated this for Theon's death. Number 3, the Little Bear. So Little Bear comes out right as this giant is coming through and just wrecking stuff, just tearing stuff up. But she stabs it right through his eye, and basically the Little Bear kills the biggest giant. So I thought that was a really cool way for her to go out. I mean, she was a tough cookie. And then also another little surprise, when the Night King rises up the dead soldiers, she is one that gets risen. So that was kind of freaky, but kind of a cool twist to Little Bear. Okay, number 2, the 3-way dragon battle. You got the Night King, Daenerys, and Jon, and they're all battling midair, and there's the snow and the wind, and they can't see, and they're getting lost and stuff, and it's just crazy. Well, the Night King gets Daenerys, almost takes her down. She's fallen. The dragon's fallen. Jon comes in with Rhaegal to the rescue, basically tears Viserys' face half off, which for the dead dragon, it doesn't really slow him down that much. You still see him blowing out blue fire and still wrecking stuff later in the episode. But it is a pretty cool scene to see the dragons all going at it. And I know for me, if you're like me, I was so worried they were going to lose another dragon. I was just like, oh, protect the dragons! So it was a pretty nasty battle. None of the dragons died at that point, but it definitely kind of splits off from there. So now let's get into number 1. The Night King surrounds Bran. He's in the Godwood. Theon's dead. He comes up to Bran, goes to pull out his ice spear to end it, and right as he's going at Bran, we see Arya jump out. He turns around, he grabs her by the throat. She's got her blade, her Valyrian steel in hand. She drops it to her other hand, stabs him right in the heart. You see the Night King drop into ice, and all the Night King's army falls. The dragons, the Walking Dead, they all drop. And you see that the humans win. Woo! Yeah, woo! Winterfell! Winterfell! So very awesome episode, guys. I was really pumped for it. I honestly didn't know that it would end in this episode, but I guess it leaves it like that halfway point to finish the battle for King's Landing. So it does make sense. It was the whole episode was the battle, so I thought that was really cool that they devoted that entire episode to it. It was a really good episode. I know I wasn't able to cover every part of it. There's just so much in that episode. So definitely let me know what you guys thought. What parts did you like? What key points did you think were scary, were cool, whatever. I definitely appreciate your guys' feedback, and let me know what you thought about the episode. If you've seen it, if you haven't seen it, let me know what you think when you do see it. So that's pretty much it for Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 3, guys. Definitely let me know what you guys thought. Don't forget our giveaway. Subscribe, like, comment. Our next giveaway prize is at 200 and will be a winner's choice poster. So keep watching, keep sharing, keep paying attention, guys. For the Quantum Corner, I'm Matt Stockholm saying, stay super, everybody.